In this video I want to show a complete winning round from start to finish and explain a little bit about what happens and why I make certain decisions. So the plane has gone on a south to north flight path. I've decided to jump out and head east as much as possible towards Malta. See one guy to my southwest and one guy to my southeast. Fortunately I land beside the car. I figure this guy to the southeast is going to go for the buildings closest to him, but he makes a line for the shed. I go back to the car and try to run him down, but I just miss. At the time I thought I'd hit him, but I just miss. I feel like he's going to get weapons in the shed, so I head east to see what I can find, put some distance between us. At this point I'm kind of alright for the early stage. I have a vest, level 2 helmet, an AK with sight, and a shotgun for close range. After looting the third building I go to, I've got a little more ammo and a first aid kit, and I'm now decide to head northwest, more back towards the zone. I'm wary of running into this guy from earlier, so I'm a bit cautious. Keep an eye out to my left hand side. This house proves quite fortuitous. I'm able to get more ammo for both my guns and 2 first aid kits. I'm hoping to find a vehicle along this road so I can get to the zone without being forced to run the whole game and be continually pressured from behind by the blue zone. Luckily there's a buggy, which is pretty good in solo games because of its high speed. This one also has a full tank of fuel, which is very helpful. I usually like to place a marker down in the rough area where I think the circles may end up. I picked an area on the map there just to the east of the George Paul Hills. We'll see later on if I'm actually close with that estimation. I go off-road. The buggy is decent on this terrain, and I usually feel like sticking to the roads gives opponents an obvious path to follow you when lining up shots. It's also flat on the roads, which makes it a lot easier to hit you, whereas off-road it's far more difficult for them to maintain a firing pattern on you. Rookie driver. I don't quite get to my marker, but instead pull into these buildings that are south of the ruins. It seems like all the doors are closed, so I decide I'll go for some loot. Even more ammo and an energy drink could be helpful for me later on. Close the doors behind me so it's not totally obvious someone is here, despite my buggy. Another energy drink, but not much else from this second house. Fairly sure I catch a glimpse of a guy there in the next house. Confirmed. And the whiff. I end up camping here for a little while because I'm nervous of pushing that guy. However, I'm also nervous myself now about getting rushed because that guy possibly saw me and he knows the shots came from behind him, plus the door's open. You can see from my scoping around a lot that I'm pretty nervous at this point. At this point, I'm sitting there thinking I have to get out of this building. The airplane's great luck there. It masks the noise of the footsteps and I can exit pretty easily there. I'm fairly sure that the guy is camping in one of the westernmost houses. So at this point I decide to do a fairly wide flank around to change my position. Hopefully I can use that to surprise him by coming from an angle he won't expect. A little wary of the ruins at this point, so I try not to stay with my back turned to it for too long. I believe I heard a vehicle there to my right hand side. Quick glance of the zone shows I'm pretty much center of it. In general, I feel hedges are quite useful to sit in and few people check them. This one isn't great from a cover point of view, but it does give me a good view of the buildings. When I saw that car coming over the crest of the hill there towards me, I was so worried at that point. Normally I'd just sit back, but I decided to push up here. However, you immediately hear shots, so I decide that it's better off for me to fall back. Now, I'm fairly sure there's two guys in this location firing at each other. I don't feel like anybody else has arrived on foot unseen. That sounds like a kill. So we back down to one guy at this point. Thing is, I can't quite see exactly what's happened down there. Still pretty much central in the zone. The guy in the black coat seems to be dead, and that looks like the first guy spotted in the building earlier. Using the cover, I push up here to see if I can get a position where I can catch him coming back out of the building. I'm thinking to myself, this guy's probably got quite good equipment at this moment in time. He's been able to loot a few of these buildings, and he's probably looted that guy that he just killed. And I want his loot. Seems laggy. I feel like he's weak, but I was whiffing and either he was lagging or I was lagging, so I decided to fall back and flank round again. Another contestant arrives. People seem to just be plying into this location with vehicles. I think there's now 4 vehicles now. Back to 2 guys now in this location, I feel. I don't think anybody got killed in that engagement. I believe that's the first guy again with his level 2 helmet. Looking at how I'm moving here, I actually think like I play this a little bit wrong. There's quite possibly two guys in this area, but I'm only really focusing on the one guy who I think's over to the southeast. I get super fortunate here. A free AR suppressor that hasn't been looted off that guy. I'm thinking there's several guys here now, and I don't want to get into a bum fight with them all, so I retreat to higher ground, lie down. There's good cover up here and a good view of the buildings. At this stage I've still not killed a single person, despite having a few fights. My zone prediction from like 15 minutes ago ends up being pretty much spot on here for once. As I mentioned earlier, I find that the bushes are good cover. So I decided to move up rather than just lying on the hillside. Zone prediction is essentially perfect. How that guy doesn't see me, I'll never know. I'm twitching and everything. My first kill there with 13 people left. I don't immediately go to loot because I know there's at least one guy still in the buildings. And I know with the blue zone he's going to have to come towards me. With the airdrop back there, I want to keep an eye on my back. Not gonna lie, I was pretty lucky with that obscured view that I hit him there. Second kill with 10 left. I think that's everybody now that's out of those buildings. This guy is Robocop. This is a great result. Get a level 3 helmet and a level 3 vest and some energy drinks. I actually don't get any more of the first aids that I try because my bag is full, but I have 3 anyway. I take far too long to kill that guy, who's also chasing the zone. I think the suppressor really helped me there. I wouldn't have been able to take those shots, I don't think, if I didn't have the suppressor on. Would have drawn far too much attention. I'm actually pretty lucky to survive there. I end up with only like 10-15% health. Fortunately, the energy drink I've just looted and some of the first aid kits I have come in handy at this point. Down to just 4 people now. I'm now pretty much on the edge. Shots up to the northeast suggest 2 of the opponents that are left are up there. In past games I've been too cautious and sit in one spot for too long. This time I decide I'm going to move a little bit more quickly. This guy to the northwest actually drives a vehicle in. I wouldn't give away my position like that. It just announces to everybody that's left where you are. With those shots, I now know exactly where both guys are. One in front of me and one really well placed up the hill. He has the zone in his favour up there to the northwest. Won't lie, I take an eternity to fire there. Figure he's standing still. It doesn't know I'm there, so I'll take my time to make sure I don't miss. Just 2 left now. This guy's actually not as well placed as I thought. He's down the hill rather than up it. But he takes the vehicle again. Gives away his position. Knows roughly where I am, but I know exactly where he is. I've been in this position a couple of times. The zone is favouring my opponent, and he also has the high ground. Luckily my health's full, I have good armour, and I remember to go back to single fire. No hits there. I think I've hit him once, and luckily I still have a first aid kit. So I'm actually quite lucky there in the end that he moves slightly and exposes his position. Luckily my shot's dead on and I get my first solo win. So a very brief rundown on the round. 83 people started and I began diving far from the flight path to Malta. The game ends southeast of George Paul, so I've essentially cut diagonally across the middle of the map by the time all is said and done. My quick and dirty marker just 7 minutes into this 30-minute game is pretty close to where the game finally ends. This guides me in the buggy and I don't end up having to chase or reposition too much. I get an AK and shotgun early, but I don't use anything besides the AK. When I arrive at the 5 buildings where most of the action occurs, the zone is favourable and I have time to sit there. If you look back, I'm actually there for over 15 minutes without having to move zones at all. I get lucky when I spot the guy in the window of the building. If I'd shown up maybe a second before or a second after, he could have easily been missed and then shot me at a later point. At that stage when I'm looting, I felt that area was clear. I get fortunate when the suppressor is left on the dead body outside. I get lucky again when Robocop runs past me but doesn't see me. At that stage I'm still using an AK with a red dot, level 1 vest, level 2 helmet. After the second guy drives away and I get the lucky-ish kill on him, I can loot for the level 3 kit and a 2x scope, which, looking back, probably gets me the win. I don't think I'm hitting the last guy with a red dot sight only. In the final 6, I take forever to get that kill on the guy also chasing the zone, and I almost died at the blue zone myself because I whiffed so much. Without the suppressor, I might not have the luxury of standing there taking all those shots. With the first aid kit and an energy drink looted from Robocop, I can heal up well. With 4 players left, I get some gunfire to give me a rough indication of the location of 1 or 2 of the remaining 3 players. Then a guy in a vehicle gives away his position to my northwest. I just don't understand why he made that decision. At that stage of the game, you're really wanting to be super stealthy and not giving them information to your opponents unnecessarily. But being sneaky and using the suppressor again to my advantage, I can kill the 3rd guy left. I get even more fortune when the last guy uses his car again to get up the hill. It gives me an easy way to track him. He dinks me at that tree, but the armor and the helmet definitely saved me there. I think I'm probably down if I'm still using my level 1 vest from earlier. I'm not exactly sure what gun he has, but I'm suspecting some kind of sniper, possibly SKS or something like that. I really don't know. So yeah, find an AK early, get a little bit of loot, drive a buggy cross map and get lucky with the zones. Get lucky spotting guys when I thought an area was clear. Get lucky when a guy runs by and doesn't notice me. Lucky that he's got loads of kit. Fortunate again when I just about survive a zone that chunks my health to like 10 or 15%. And even more luck when I get behind a guy who has no clue I'm there and then stands in the open looting a dead body. And the final piece of fortune is when the last guy drives around twice giving away his position. He can't land the final shot, fortunately, and I get the kill. So as you can see, in a round like this, 30 minutes long, roughly, I get several pieces of good luck with zones, getting loot off dead bodies, having guys run right past me and not see me, and then the final guy giving away his position, basically putting the big bullseye on his head going, this is where I am, this is where I've moved to. So hopefully you enjoyed this replay and my thoughts as I talk my way through it there. Thanks a lot for watching.